Hello, welcome to my project about Microsoft Azure data pipeline. My name is Carlos Rodriguez, and I'll be here demonstrating what I learned in this project. So Professor Kartik, this is the project I choose. So let's start by reviewing what was the purpose of the project. So there was the architecture of the cloud. In this case, we have an on-prem solution, which is used basically to mask some of the sensitive data sometimes. And then it depends on the data. It's a PAI, PHI, which is masking. Then it goes to the cloud where it's ingested by the Azure Data Factory in Microsoft, which also loads into the data lake, SQL, and then we mount it into a Tableau. So this is what we're going to be demonstrating today in these slides. The first step, obviously, is to get the data on the on-prem. And what type of data we selected is a data files, a set of data files for a marketing project where we're going to be reviewing the market share, all these different patients that we have like a density in different populations in the United States. So the first thing is to load the files. So the files are loaded in these databases that are on-prem is Microsoft SQL. So they're loading all the tables into these specific SSIS packages that load the tables on this project. So let's talk about what we did in Microsoft Azure Data Pipeline. What I did is specifically create the data that is loaded into this. So I went to the Microsoft Azure account where we have typically all these different things. So I have my account set up. I connected to the Azure Data Factory where I was like doing this information. So this is the first step. In the Azure Data Factory, I selected the pipeline that I was going to use for this. So first went to dev, there is another one for test, and then the last one is a production one. So I click on the author and monitor, where I can click on the different pipelines that are already created so I can take advantage of them. I can also create data flows, pipeline from template, copy data, and SSIS package. In this case, I am using some of the pipelines that are already existing in a way. We'll use, what I do is like typically copy one of the pipelines and start working on it, or just use one that is already there. So in this case, what we're gonna demonstrate is this store prep. In this case, what I have is already the idea of loading into the lake first. So to do that, using this metadata, which it has already one of these specific pipelines created, I will use the MDM start. I will copy that one and start to get the data from this into the organized ways by creating a script that will be used for this specific pipeline to load the data into the data lake using the blob, and then from there to the rest of the pipeline. So one of the clicks in this is just to create the configuration file and use this for each table. That's typically done in each of the data steps. In this case, when we create that thing, what we're doing is just using the script to the table that I'm in question for this. We use views for that, or we use tables. Then after loading all the tables as they are onto the pipeline, what we're doing is then creating the execution of these different things on the pipeline that we have, going through all these different phases on the staging, transformation, and then at the end, we have like a check. Some of this data will be masked in order to, because they have PII and PHI, as I said in the beginning, and that's something that I configure typically on the on-prem, and that's the solution that we have typically using that information. Other things that I take care of is a watermark. So when the data is loaded and loads comes after that, it will be something like is a change capture, so we can load only new data instead of truncate and load. So that I created all these database in the landing pages that are having all the information that I need. After I have all the data in here in these databases that is connected to the cloud, I'm starting to using it for modeling purposes. After the model is created in the views that we have, I can go into the Tableau where I will publish the data for this marketing information. This is a dashboard that at the end is created in Tableau. This information is basically something that it was done by one of the treatment bodies. So it can be planned, the information of a market share that is going on across the different plans. And this information is not is not it's taken as testing. It's not really the data that is happening here. So it's just testing data. So we have all these statistics of the patients that are going into any of these different tumor mainstreams on in the body. And this is what the plans are, the market share in this specific tumor for the entire US. What I did is I have a distance from the JC Genesis Care office for the location that it will be calculating from the information that we receive for the population in the different criterias that we have used in the claims. And then we create this market opportunity, which is going to be shown what are the type of things that we can capture from these locations. There is a parameterization that is going around, and there are some filters that it can be applied on the Tableau dashboard. So this is the Tableau dashboard that I created after this project from the cloud. So at the end, this is a summary of the architecture that was created in this project. So for this project, as described, created the SSIS package to load data from the SFTP site into SQL in the on-prem. Then it goes through the gateway for Azure Data Factory, so it can load the data from there into the pipeline that is creating all these data lake files, the landing pages, and they go into the model that is then consumed by Tableau to create a model. So at the end of this project, I learned how to complete a project to load the data to the pipeline using an extract. In this case, it was data coming from external, which is not, it's in the future is going to be combining data from us so we can get a better understanding if the data is better than what we have from external for the different type of settings that we're working on. It has done a complete sample of the data factory and the data to load the data to the data lake. From the data lake, we get to the modeling, it's in the store, and then the modeling site. Then they're using the landing data, so complete the model to explore the data created using Tableau. And that is the finalization of the project. I want to thank you, Professor Kartik. I believe it was a great class, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you.